From basic amenities such as piped water, proper drainage, parks and road to supporting infrastructure and ownership rights for family owned properties, residents in the capital's rural and urbanized villages have a long list of demands. Several urban pockets in the capital have seen massive development in the last few years. Villagers said they continue to live with the bare minimum facilities. A day after Lieutenant Governor V.K. Saxena interacted with the representatives of Delhi's rural and urban villages, the residents of these areas demanded a concerted approach and planning in developing them. Of only 360 villages in Delhi in the 19th century, Delhi has now 49 rural villages. Of the villages, 260 have been urbanized and the rest have disappeared. While talking to the villagers on Tuesday, the LG said the government had a corpus of over rupees 1300 crore to develop urban and rural villages, while over 13,000 acres of Gram Sabha land taken over by the DDA after urbanization of villages would be used for various development and infrastructure projects to improve the life of people in these pockets. First and foremost, the government should carry out the GIS and drone based survey to demarcate Laldora, extended Laldora and agriculture land and keep a vigil unauthorized construction. This will help in protecting the Gram Sabha land in rural areas which is being eaten by the unauthorized colonies, and will help in resolving disputes and pending litigations due to land ownership in urbanized villages, said Paras Tyagi of the Center for Youth, Culture, Law and Environment, an organization working for public policy reforms in Delhi's complex governance model. The survey finding will help in preparing village development plans and create requisite physical and social infrastructure, he said. While the capital's population has risen manifold in the past few years, unavailability of affordable housing has forced people to build houses in colonies that came up in agricultural, Gram Sabha and government land. The population in the villages also increased and extended beyond the Abadi and Laldora boundaries, leaving little or no space for parks, community centers and other recreational purposes. The head of Palam 360 Khap said over the years the urbanized villages have turned into slums with people having no space for themselves. In the name of development, only sewer and water lines have been laid. The Gram Sabha land was taken over and sold for commercial purposes. The roads are narrow and parks and playgrounds have vanished, Solanki said. The government must plan parks and playgrounds for children, build air-conditioned community centers and rejuvenate ponds. Each village has some legacy. That history must be mentioned somewhere near the main gate of the village or at Chopal, he added. Rajbir Solanki of Delhi Mool Gramin Panchayat said the way we have academies for various languages in the capital, the rich culture of Delhi's villages and their dialects should be preserved and promoted by setting up an academy for it. He added that the sporting culture should also be promoted by building sports facilities for rural and urban areas. Mayor Shelley Oberoi on Wednesday said she, along with MCD officials and councillors, will cover 15 km every day in each municipal zone to check the status of civic services and fix lapses in a time-bound manner. The month-long drive aimed at improving cleanliness in the city will start in the first week of January. At least 3 inspections will be carried out in every zone. MCD had earlier appointed nodal officers for the 12 zones to ensure illegal garbage vulnerable points are removed. The mayor said the aim is to make the city free from these GVPs by February 20. We launched the Now Delhi Will Be Clean campaign under CM Arvind Kejriwal's vision to make Delhi a clean and world-class city. Officials were instructed to identify all illegal waste sites and they worked on the ground with corporation councillors to identify and eliminate these. An action plan has been made now to take this campaign ahead and hold month-long inspections, Oberoi said while addressing a press conference. During the campaign, officials, public representatives, the deputy mayor, leader of the house, and the mayor will be out of the city streets. We will inspect 10 to 15 km in a day and check the status of illegal GVPs which are removed and the status of cleanliness. Considering most of these sites have been beautified according to officials, we will check the status on the ground, said Oberoi, adding that areas under flyovers and roadsides will be covered during the drive. The inspection aim is to understand how much change we have been successful in bringing out after the joint efforts of officials and public representatives, the mayor said, adding she will also request the people to contribute to the initiative. Leader of the House Mukesh Goel said if any other illegal garbage dumping places are found, they will be eliminated immediately. Citizens are also requested to throw garbage in the right place so that no more GVPs are formed, he said. Opposition leader Raja Iqbal Singh said AAP was starting the campaign to conceal its failures. It had promised to eliminate garbage mountains by January 1, 2024, a commitment they could not fulfill. Heaps of garbage still exist in unauthorized colonies under flyovers along roadside and in alleys. An investigation into some bad vehicle loans given out by a non-banking finance company led Delhi Police Special Cell to a module which had got financed as many as 35 bikes through the firm by misusing its virtual verification system. 3 alleged fraudsters have been arrested and hunted on 4 other members of the syndicate. According to the Special Commissioner, the bikes were financed between February and May last year and were being sold in the grey market in Salempur. 13 two-wheelers have been recovered. The arrests have marked a crucial milestone in the ongoing efforts to combat cybercrime and to preempt the monetary losses of financial institutions, Dhaliwal added. In 35 cases, it was found that the loans were procured on forged documents and photographs. The accused also impersonated at the time of virtual verification over video calls. On the receipt of a complaint from the firm, an inquiry was carried out, after which a case was registered and a probe team formed under DCP Hemant Tiwari. A team of cyber experts was also roped in to provide technical assistance. Delhi's Government Environment Department has prepared an inventory of major air pollution sources at 24 priority areas in the city. The department has identified sources of pollution at the continuous ambient air quality monitoring stations in Delhi, and these include open burning of biomass, dumping of municipal waste, path hole, road, traffic congestions and construction activity. The department had earlier prepared a similar inventory of 13 pollution hotspots. An environment department official said on Wednesday, "We have identified major sources of pollution near Delhi. We have shared the inventory with the agencies concerned so the emission can be reduced." The inventory relates to Alipur, Ayanagar, this. A total of 90 varied pollution sources have been mapped at these 24 locations. In ITO, the main source of pollution are heavy traffic movement and idling by vehicles, with the waiting time of the intersection being 150 to 180 seconds, congestion stretching up to 120 meters on the crossing, and a construction site in an aerial radius of 200 meters. Dumping of waste in the main source of pollution in Ayanagar. The inventory said waste matter was dumped on the main road in Ayanagar. In 2023, Delhi recorded an average daily PM 2.5 concentration of 100 micrograms per cubic meter against 98 micrograms per cubic meter in 22. The PM 2.5 concentration in 23 was 2.5 times higher than the annual national ambient air quality standard and 20 times higher than the annual World Health Organization's safe limit. The Commission of Air Quality Management in National Capital Region and adjoining areas has submitted a fresh report to the National Green Tribunal identifying major polluting sectors and corrective steps. The Commission said the emission inventory would be updated and source apportionment studies for Delhi, Gurgaon, Gautam Budh Nagar and Faridabad would be conducted by June by the Central Pollution Control Board and State Pollution Control Boards. However, the exercise has been targeted for the other NCR areas by December. CAQM has also set a target for phasing out diesel auto rickshaws in NCR, formulating a plan for common boilers for industrial cluster, setting up infrastructure for material recovery and disposal of the end of life vehicles and installation of low cost sensors on large construction sites registered on the pollution control panel's portal. The commission filed the report after NGT has taken of the deteriorating air quality in NCR. On December 6, NGT had observed that a plan submitted by CAQM lacked information on specific action plan, timeline, implementing agency and allocations of fund and directed it to file a fresh report. For abating vehicular air pollution, CAQM suggested in its January 2 report infrastructure for material recovery and disposal of end of life vehicles to be set up of at least 50% capacity in December 31 in NCR. It also proposed around 50% of the fleet augmentation of public bus service through CNG or e-buses in NCR as per model yardstick and service level benchmark of the Union Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs based on the population of Gurgaon, Faridabad, Gautam Budh Nagar and Ghaziabad by December 31. For the rest of NCR, 20% of the planned fleet augmentation will be done by December 31. CAQM said it was also targeting phasing out diesel autos in Gurgaon, Faridabad, this. To control dust pollution, Delhi Pollution Control Committee and State Pollution Control Boards of NCR districts have been asked to install low-cost sensors in all construction projects of more than 500 square meter plot area registered on the portal by January 31, and the report stated CAQM said a scientific study on the efficacy of use of dust suppressants on the road would be finalized by April 30. Questioning the compelling reason of seeking his personal appearance before the Enforcement Directorate when he claimed the Prevention of Money Laundering Act 2002 provided otherwise, CM Arvind Kejriwal said the summons appeared to be in the nature of fishing and roving inquiry. Kejriwal said in his 5-page response to the ED, as a premier investigating agency of the country, the non-disclosure and non-response approach adopted by you cannot sustain the test of law, equity or justice. Your sustainability, your obstinacy tantamount to assuming the role of judge, jury and executioner at the same time. The ED, while opposing the bail application of former Deputy CM Manish Sisodia, had given an undertaking to the Supreme Court to complete the trial in the excise policy case within 6 months after winding up the probe against AAP and its leadership. Kejriwal being the national convener of AAP, his questioning is crucial for the agency to conclude its investigation before filing a charge sheet against the party and its leadership. As he is not cooperating, the trial may get delayed as the ED cannot wind up the probe without looking into the culpability of AAP and its leadership in the excise policy scam, a source said. During its probe, the ED claims to have found that all public comments to the draft excise policy were allegedly generated by one person, a major evidence that needs to be corroborated from the head of the government and the leadership of AAP, which is alleged to be the end beneficiary of the proceeds of crime. Kejriwal was summoned twice earlier. On both occasions, he evaded questioning, citing first his busy schedule with the assembly elections and later due to his Vipassana retreat. Sources claimed Kejriwal's excuses were only meant to evade investigation and further delay in trial. The Delhi division of Northern Railway is working on 4 train-themed restaurants with private players at 4 stations in Delhi. The first restaurant was opened at New Delhi railway station outside the Ajmeri Gate platform on Tuesday. A similar restaurant, which will be inside a coach, is underway at Anand Vihar, and plans are in place for the one in Old Delhi and Chanakyapuri stations. The executive advisor to the divisional railway manager Prem Shankar Jha said the idea behind this concept is to just for enhancing the experience of the people visiting the railway station, but to also increase the revenue of the railways. A coach has also been transformed into a restaurant to provide a delightful experience to visitors. He said that the concept does not only allow for a novel experience but also promotes the vision of converting waste to wealth. The restaurant towards Ajmeri Gate on platform 16 can accommodate 48 people. Jha said that according to the contract, the railway will get a revenue share of around rupees 65 lakh annually from each such restaurant. It is an effort towards sustainability, he said. The coaches have been set up in a way so that the passengering entering the stations as well as visitors who are not boarding any train can spend time there without needing to enter the paid area of the platforms, he said. A senior official of Northern Railway said that though vendors would be free to decide the prices, the railway would monitor the space so that prices are not exorbitant and hygiene is maintained. The restaurant coming up in Anand Vihar is expected to be ready by February end, and the others at Old Delhi and Chanakyapuri stations by March end. We have given the coaches for it. The vendors are preparing it from inside, as a lot of modification has to be done before it can be used, he said. Following the changes in its road restoration policy, only the Public Works Department itself will be authorized to repair a road that has been cut by other project implementing agencies like the Delhi Jal Board, Power Discoms and the Municipal Corporation of Delhi. According to officials, most of the complaints regarding the poor quality of road involve the stretches prepared by other agencies that do not have any experience in road work. All the restoration of PWD maintained road will be carried out only by PWD. Under no circumstances, no other agency shall be allowed to restore the road, stated an order issued by PWD Special Secretary. The project implementation agency must provide an action plan to roads to be cut in advance. It shall intimate before the start of the work, it added. The policy pointed out that the adjoining areas, especially footpaths, drains and other utility services, were often affected while laying and restoring services. In March 2018, PWD had came out with a new road restoration policy which had made it imperative on the agencies digging roads for work such as laying cables and pipelines or for other purposes to themselves fill the cavities and restore the stretches. Currently, land-owning agencies like the Municipal Corporation repair road on payment by the entities such as the power utilities that carry out digging for work. The policy had also specified that restoration would be carried out within 48 hours of the digging work being completed. The project implementing agency was also supposed to engage a third party to ensure the quality of the restoration work. However, residents have often complained about the restoration work carried out by various entities. Lieutenant Governor V.K. Saxena on Wednesday granted permission for an CBI investigation against 2 officials of Delhi Government Department of Forest and Wildlife in an alleged siphoning of funds to the tune of rupees 223 crore. In another case, the LG gave a go-ahead for the anti-corruption branch to conduct investigation against 2 senior nurses of a Delhi government hospital in an alleged bribery case of rupees 60,000. Raj Niwas officials said in both cases Saxena gave his approval for investigation under Section 17A of the Prevention of Corruption. He noted on the file that it was in the interest of justice to investigate and conduct inquiry against the accused persons, said an official. According to officials, the CBI has registered a case against the then Forest Department official who were posted in the Accounts Department for entering into a criminal conspiracy with the senior branch manager of the nationalized bank in Paharganj and other to transfer rupees 200 crore illegally and unauthorizedly from the sundry account of the fake saving accounts opened in the name of Delhi's Urban Shelter Improvement Board on the basis of forged letter purportedly issued by the Department of Forest and Wildlife. While one of the accused is a Group A officer and is currently posted in Delhi government's principal accounts of office, the other officer is posted in the accounts department of Bhagwan Mahavir Hospital. The file seeking the LG's permission for CBI investigation was submitted by the Directorate of Vigilance through the National Capital Service Civil Service Authority. The Directorate of Vigilance in its report stated that the CBI submitted a letter in July 23 saying that the investigations conducted so far prima facie brought forth the role of the two officials in the case of financial irregularities pertaining of the Department of Forest and Wildlife, said an official. Referring to the second case, official said two senior nursing officer posted at GB Pant Hospital had allegedly demanded rupees 60,000 from each from two nursing officers for allotting them light duty and exemption from the COVID-19 desk. One nursing officer also alleged that both the accused had already taken 42,000. Lodi Road on Wednesday saw its season's second consecutive meteorological cold day. The weather department has issued a yellow alert for cold day conditions in some areas along with moderate fog on Thursday. According to India Meteorological Department, the maximum and minimum on Thursday may be 17 and 7 degrees Celsius respectively. The maximum and minimum temperatures dropped at the city's base station in Safdarjung. The maximum on Wednesday was 15 degrees Celsius, 4 notches below normal, and also lower than 17 degrees Celsius on Tuesday. The minimum was 7 degrees Celsius, normal for the season but lower than 8 degrees Celsius a day earlier. On Lodi Road on Wednesday, the maximum was 14 degrees Celsius, 5 degrees below normal. The minimum was recorded at 6 degrees, which made it a meteorological cold day. A meteorological cold day is announced when the maximum temperature is 4 degrees below normal and the minimum temperature is below 10 degrees Celsius. Mayur Vihar in East Delhi recorded the lowest maximum temperature in the city at 12 degrees, followed by Mungeshpur in the northwest Delhi at 13 degrees, Jafarpur in the southwest 13 degrees, and the Ridge area at 13 degrees Celsius. There are chances some areas may see cold day conditions on Thursday. On Wednesday, of the 5 manual observatories, only Lodi Road recorded cold day conditions. There is a variation in the wind which oscillated between dry and cold northwesterly and comparatively warmer southerly. From Friday onwards, there might be a rising trend in the temperature due to southeasterly winds. The next western disturbance is around January 8, prior to which there will be a slight rise in temperature, a scientist said. Delhi's air quality index recorded 341. It was 340 a day earlier. According to the air quality early warning system, the outlook of the next 6 days shows that the air quality is likely to be very poor from Thursday to Saturday. As many as 43 MLAs of Jharkhand's governing coalition in a closed-door meeting on Wednesday backed Chief Minister Hemant Soren as their leader for the assembly election in the state scheduled in November. The coalition has total 48 MLAs from JMM, Congress and RJD in the 81-member assembly. 5 MLAs did not turn up for the meeting. The meeting at Soren's residence came amid speculations that the CM, who is facing ED summons in a land scam case, might step down and install his wife Kalpana as his replacement from the Assembly constituency, whose MLA Sarfraz Ahmed resigned abruptly on December 31. Soren had on Tuesday evening issued a statement claiming that talks of appointing Kalpana as the CM was BJP's imagination. Lawmakers who attended the meeting said no discussions over a change of face in the leadership were held. There were no discussions on the Kalpana Soren, Congress MLA Irfan Ansari said. Another Congress MLA Pradeep Yadav said all 43 MLAs present at the meeting unanimously supported Soren as the leader of the coalition. Mithilesh Kumar Thakur, a JAMM minister, said there will be no change in the leadership. Hemant Soren is our leader and will continue to remain so. We will also fight for the 24 elections under his leadership and win by a bigger margin than 19. Sources said Soren told the MLAs that he was abrupted by the summons which were being issued to him for questioning. He told the MLAs that his reply to the 7 summons issued by EDs late last month was good enough. A lawmaker who attended the meeting told Ahmad, whose abrupt resignation sparked political speculations in Ranchi, also attended the meeting. The meeting came amid ongoing raids by ED across the state in the alleged illegal mining scam, including at the home of Soren's close aide Abhishek Prasad in Ranchi. They have recovered nothing from his home so far. They brought in equipment to break open some trunks, but only found old and discarded clothes, Soren was quoted as telling the MLA. Several associates of Jharkhand CM Hemant Soren, including his press advisor Abhishek Prasad, had their premises searched by ED on Wednesday during a coordinated operation linked to the agency's investigation into the illegal mining case. ED sources said Wednesday's raid were meant to look for evidence of the complicity in the mining scam involving alleged money laundering. At Prasad House in Ranchi's Shivpuri, the search began at 6 am and continued all day as paramilitary personnel stood guard. A locksmith was called in and apparently break a safe in the house. An ED team was also sent to the house of Binod Singh, proprietor of Grid Consultant Architects. Meanwhile, another team raided the residence of one Roshan Kumar, said to be a person with extensive contacts in administrative circles. Asha, the cheetah named by PM Modi, has given birth to 3 furry little cubs in Kuno National Park in Madhya Pradesh, delivering the hope of reviving the cheetah population in India. The cubs have been fathered by wanderer cheetah Pawan Aka Oban, who was recently tranquilized and brought back to Kuno after he decided to take a stroll to Rajasthan. These Indian-born cheetah were spotted at the first time on December 26, say sources. It's the second litter since the African cheetahs were translocated to Kuno in September 22. 4 cheetahs were born to Shia, Jwala and Rockstar Freddy in March 24-23. They were the first cheetah cubs to be born in the wild in the country since cheetahs went extinct over 7 decades ago. Unfortunately, 3 of them died in the heat of Indian summer, but 1 survived. Asha's successful delivery making a significant milestone in the conservation initiative, said a forest officer, adding that Asha and her newborns are being monitored. Chief Minister Mohan Yadav shared a video and a picture of the 3 cubs on Twitter and posted, "News of the arrival of 3 little cheetah cubs at Kuno is extremely joyful. Under the leadership and guidance of PM Modi, Madhya Pradesh has got a new identity as cheetah state." Union Minister Bhupendra Yadav shared the news on social media. Purs in the Wild thrilled to share that Kuno National Park has welcomed 3 new members. The cubs have been born at Namibian cheetah Asha. This is roaring success for Project Cheetah, envisioned by PM Modi to restore ecological balance. Conservationists are thrilled. Sushan Yeniti of the Meta Population Initiative Cheetah Meta Population Project said Asha's cubs will have teams monitoring them and veterinarians nearby, which will boost their chances of survival. We are very excited by the news of this birth. Great news to start 24. Congrats to the officials overseeing Project Cheetah in India. This is a positive development, but a long and challenging road lies ahead for these cubs. Losses should be anticipated on their journey to becoming ecologically functional. We wish the Cheetah and project staff all the best, said Vincent Vandermeer, director of the Metapopulation Initiative Cheetah Metapopulation Project. The collector of Madhya Pradesh, Shajapur district, Kishore Kumar Kanyal, was removed from his post by CM Mohan Yadav on Wednesday following his Aukaat Kya Hai snub at a truck driver during a meeting to resolve the truckers' protest. The CM warned that such language would not be tolerated and that he would never forgive such acts. Officials, no matter how big, should always respect the poor and their feelings. Such language will not be tolerated, not in our government, Yadav said. Karnal, replaced with 14 batch IAS officer Rizuju Bafna, was sent to the state secretariat as a deputy secretary. The language used by the officer with truck drivers was not appropriate. This is government of the poor. Under PM Modi's leadership, we are working for their upliftment, CM Yadav said. Papu Ahirwar, the driver snubbed by Kanyal, welcomed the move and said truckers make an important contribution to the society. Kanyal told Tuesday night that one of the participants was repeatedly saying that they would go to any extent if the government did not accept their demands. Amid an exchange of words between the transporters and a few officials sitting next to the collector, Kanyal is seen on video pointing a finger and saying, "ऐसी बात मत करिए यहाँ this." Ahirwar replied with folded hands, "यही तो हमारी लड़ाई है." He was then led away from the meeting by police. Ahead of the board's exam, the Education Ministry is asking preparation for Pariksha Pe Charcha 2024. The interaction is expected in the last week of January, in which PM Narendra Modi will speak to the students and answer their questions. Modi had interacted with student, teacher and parents for the first time in 2018 under the Pariksha Pe Charcha program. The main program is likely to be held at Talakatora Stadium in Delhi, while students will also join virtually from across the country. During the previous interactions, Modi always encouraged students to celebrate exams as a festival and advised them on exams related stress as well as on life lessons and answer queries of students, parents, teachers from across the country and abroad on concerns related to exams and life after school. Education Ministry of officials said the aim of PPC is to transform stress into success, enabling students to take exam with a smile. Addressing a gathering of women at Thikekadu Maidan on Wednesday, Prime Minister Narendra Modi spoke about his and his government's achievements in empowering women and insisted that even in Kerala, only a BJP-led NDA government could fulfill their aspirations going forward. In his 19-minute speech, the PM used the phrase Modi's guarantee 18 times, repeatedly prefacing his remarks in Malayalam with this, "My dear." Modi called Kerala's women to participate in large numbers to prove their power, pointing out that Nari Shakti Vandan Adhiniyam has now become law. The PM claimed that Congress and the left parties had delayed the women's reservation bill. Addressing around 40,000 women at the Stri Shakti Mahila Sammelan organized by BJP's Kerala Women Wing, the PM listed his government's initiatives regarding women empowerment, ranging from passing the Women's Reservation Bill and abrogation of triple talaq to implementing various national schemes like rupees 10 crore Ujjwala gas scheme, the rupees 11 crore free connections scheme, toilet scheme and a scheme for women to have bank accounts. At the rally, PM Modi struck all the right notes, reassuring the Christian community of the central government's commitment to the community's welfare and safety, touching on controversies related to the sentimental Sabarimala and Thrissur Puram issues and targeting the LDF government alleged alleged lack of accountability in its use of central funds.